Good evening, everyone. I would like to call this meeting to order. It is now 6 p.m. on Tuesday, March the 11th, and this is the community meeting of Advisory Neighborhood Commission 2C. My name is Michael Schenkel, and I am the chair of ANC 2C, and I'd like to take a couple minutes for the commissioners to introduce themselves. If you want to start with you, Nancy.
Sure, I'm Nancy Groth. I'm the commissioner of 2C02, and for this moment, I am still the commissioner of Black Lives Matter Plaza.
And my name is Jim Swart. I am the commissioner for ANC 2C04. We have a portion of Chinatown. We have all of City Center, and we have much of downtown DC.
And my name is Thomas Lee. I'm the commissioner for 2C03, which is Penn Quarter and the National Mall.
And I didn't introduce my SMD, but that is a single member district with that is Chinatown and Penn Quarter, 2C01 for me. So we do have a quorum of four commissioners present, and this meeting was duly noticed. So we are able to proceed with tonight's agenda. I'd like to first show our agenda, potentially. Oops, that's not what I want to show. Try that again. Go. Terrific. We're going to start off tonight by doing some approval of our minutes, our previous minutes, and have our treasurer's report. We're going to, we did have on our agenda this evening, Councilmember Pinto was supposed to be here with us. She had to reschedule last minute due to a hearing that was running longer than anticipated. So she has rescheduled to come to our meeting on April the 8th, which is our next meeting. We will proceed tonight with doing our community announcements and updates from the government agencies. We do have two items that are on our consent agenda. One is for Fit DC, Her Story 5K and Kids Race, which happened this past Saturday. The second one is related to an event that will be occurring around Capital One Arena on April 11th, which we'll hear about during today's meeting. We have one APCA license that we want to revisit from our last meeting. And then we have 5 transportation and public space activities to review this evening. And we have 1 planning, zoning, environment, and historic preservation, which is related to updated renderings of monumental sports and entertainment in the Capital One Arena renovations. Commissioners, do you have anything else to add to the agenda?
Are we going to approve minutes?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Is there any items to add from the community to the agenda? Just make sure. Okay. With that, hearing none, I would like to move that we approve the agenda as revised. seconded by Commissioner Lee. All those in favor?
Yes.
So 4 of 4 commissioners voting in favor of that, so we'll move forward with the agenda as presented. We do have 2 sets of minutes to approve this evening. One is the January 2025 minutes, which we received a week ago, followed immediately by the February 2025 minutes. Commissioners, have you had the opportunity to review the minutes?
Yes,
Are there any corrections or additions?
looked
Okay.
great. Excellent.
Awesome. Would you like to,
I'll move that we approve the minutes as submitted.
Commissioner Groth has moved to approve the minutes as submitted. Seconded by Commissioner Swart. All those in favor? So 4 of 4 commissioners voting in favor of that. So the minutes are approved. And we'll publish those on our website.
I'd just like to note again for the record that the September, October, November, and December minutes are still not up on the website. I've still never seen them, so.
Got it.
And
We will-
the public has a right to see them.
Absolutely, they do. Absolutely. Okay. So noted. Are you?
I can do a redacted treasurer's report.
Okay, go for it.
So we lost access to our online account, so I have to get back in. We just booted
Yeah,
up.
man.
We're trying to log into.
Camera balls.
No way.
Camera balls.
I do have 2 checks.
Do I come?
I gotta do a little work.
for-
But that one was hard.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry. There we go.
Mute them.
Got it. I'm sorry. I thought it was coming down the hallway. Sorry, go folks.
We have 2 expenses, which I'm writing checks for. One is for our January, one is for the meeting minutes, one is to pay for the meeting minutes from Minute Services. And this is for our January 14th, 2025 meeting of
You go into,
$375.
you speak into the mic.
Yeah.
And then the second check is for our February, for the meeting minutes for the February 11th, 2025 ANC meeting. Also also written to Minute Services, and that is in the amount of $625. Sign that, and then I will mail that off once you've signed and once you review the summary.
Thank you for that. For those of you who, there's some agendas that are over by the door. There are also agendas that can be downloaded. We're just going to ask folks that when you go to speak to get as close to the mic as possible because people are indicating they cannot hear us online. So getting back to our agenda this evening, we have implemented a new process that we're going to try this evening to see how that works. And this is a timed agenda. It was perfectly worked out until we had a cancellation and then I had to shift things around, but all good. We got it. So we are going to limit presentations this evening to 10 minutes on our agenda. If the commissioners wish to extend the time, we can do that, but that's 10 minutes would include the presentation and any questions that the audience may wish to ask of the presenters this evening. So we are running a little bit ahead of time, which is perfectly fine with me. So we'll move forward with our community announcements. First up, we have MPD 2. And do we have someone from MPD 2 on with us this evening? Okay. We'll come back to potentially for ANC, for MPD 2. We'll move forward with MPD 1 this evening, and I believe I saw Captain Herbeck on with us this evening.
Yep. Hey, good evening, everybody. Captain Herbernack with the 1st District. Just a couple quick updates. I'll start with some positive news. First of all, is that as some may know, we've been experiencing some issues with retail and commercial establishment burglaries over the last couple months. We did recently have a closure in those burglaries, where we arrested an individual that was part of a group that committed nearly 20 of those burglaries. That case was closed on February 27th with the hard work of both the detectives and patrol working together. That being said, we have kind of continued to up our patrol overnight of those areas that have commercial retailers, things like dispensaries, things like dry cleaners, and especially places with glass front stores. We just ask that all businesses. One of the big things that we've noticed during this kind of uptick was burglar alarms either not being installed, not being used, or not actively monitored. So we have upped our response to burglar alarms where if we receive a burglar alarm, we are responding code 1. That means with lights and sirens. So if you do have an actively monitored alarm and it calls 911, that allows us to get there very quickly. A lot of these burglaries can happen in less than a couple minutes. We've seen some that happen as quickly as 2 minutes, where they break a window, go inside, steal some items, maybe steal some cash that's available, and then leave. So we have a really small window to catch people in the act of it when it does happen. So burglar alarms are a big tool in that. And obviously the prevention and securing locations, making sure locks are locked, doors are secured, keys are accounted for, and that if there is any large glass plates, that there is some sort of protection there. I'll start with some of our stats. No violent crime to report out on this on the 1D side of 2C for the last 30 days. That's a great. We're continuing the trend from last year. I'll be honest with everybody, I was a little bit worried after 2024's double-digit decline in violent crime that it would be a tough score to beat. But it seems like we're continuing that trend with some double-digit decrease in violent crime. Property crime has remained kind of flat, no change from last year, so we want to see that go down. But overall, crime is down. The drivers for the reasons that property crime has remained flat is mostly due to motor vehicle theft and theft from autos. So one of the big things we see, and this is a citywide problem, not just an ANC 2C problem, is that we have a lot of delivery drivers that are picking up food, or people that are picking people up that leave their cars running and then go inside to get that food or wait for a person and leave the car unattended. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but it does happen quite a bit. So as much as we can remind people, I like to remind people, please, please, please secure your car. Even if you're just going inside for a few seconds, turn the vehicle off, lock the vehicle, secure the vehicle, and take the keys with you. But that being said, I'm available for any questions, of course, if anybody has any.
Thank you so very much, Captain. We appreciate you being here. Commissioners, do you have any questions for MPD 1? Do community members have any questions? Sure. Could you use the mic? We'll have you.
It comes off the stand, right?
It pops off the stand, yes.
Yeah, can you take it off the stand, Mr. Marks?
I
think it's Captain. Yeah, this is Howard Marks calling on the line. I'm sorry, live actually at the library. So one thing that the police have not mentioned is their appearances from 1D and 2D are traffic fatalities here in the district. Just a week ago, I was outside of your district, but I was at the intersection of D and Washington Streets southwest on Capitol Hill. 3 cars, one after another, ran the red light. I thought after the second car I could go out into the intersection safely. Fortunately, I hesitated. Otherwise, I would have been killed. 10 days before, I was at the 17th and Constitution, also outside your district. A shared ride vehicle turning left went almost into me. even though I had the green light and I was clearly in the crosswalk. The Zero Fatalities initiative by Mayor Bowser has been a total disaster. It's been documented. The number of fatalities has gone up dramatically. Does the police have any role at all in protecting us as pedestrians, Captain?
Absolutely, and we do. And I think the chief and the mayor both take traffic safety pretty seriously. I know that you are correct. There has been an increase in traffic fatalities, unfortunately, despite our efforts with Vision Zero. But that being said, we do. So there's a couple things that we're trying to do to see if this works. Is that we've instituted that during busy times, rush hours, in the morning and evenings, we have a car dedicated to traffic safety in all the districts, and specifically at the first district, we have one. And sometimes we have multiple cars that are available for traffic, and that certainly has helped. We do see that there has been a number. We do write a number of notice infractions, or NOIs as we call them, which are moving violations, and we would like to pair that with some education, but definitely enforcement's a big way, especially pedestrian enforcement pedestrian safety enforcement is an important priority in that traffic safety. So I definitely hear you on that, and it is concerning, and it's something that we want to continue to work to. We work with DDOT a lot on that, especially when we have larger events. We try to make sure we meet on a weekly basis to make sure if we have large events like at Nat Stadium or Audi Field or the Wharf, that we work with DDOT to make sure there's traffic control officers so that they can, make sure that pedestrians walking in the area are safe. But even just that day-to-day traffic, especially during rush hours, we want to make sure that we're making an impact on for both pedestrians and so that people can drive on the road safely.
Okay, thank you. I'm not going to take up the time of the ANC and debate you over this issue. I think it's a good first step, but more is needed. More than just one car or two cars in a district as large as yours is just not enough. We have to, I think, reinstitute the traffic safety unit that was in effect at one point. So, but thank you, Captain, and I'll turn the mic over to the chairman.
Any other questions? Could I have you come up and use the mic? Yes, please. Thank you.
Hi. I just wanted to ask about like a current event sort of question. Officers Sutton and Zabowski, who were responsible for the murder of Karen Hilton Brown and the cover-up, and they were recently pardoned by President Trump and have been reinstated to the MPD. I was wondering if there's any sort of like internal opposition to that. I don't know what districts they'll be assigned to, but even if it's not in your district, I think, I don't know, it's important to kind of have a sort of vocal opposition to that, because that sort of stuff sets a precedent, because there might be a future pardoning with, I don't know, bad eggs who might come to our district. And how is that supposed to make us feel safe when there are some like really big accountability issues for like very grave crimes? So I was wondering if there's any efforts to either internally talk to the police chief or the mayor, or anything in any sort of opposition to this grave injustice.
I think that came up today in the performance oversight committee hearing with the chief today, and I think she said she wasn't necessarily able to speak on it just yet because it is, she would have to speak with the general counsel. I can just say a couple things. Yes, they were pardoned. Yes, they are being reinstated. I don't know where they will be assigned. That's above my pay grade. So I don't know if they'll be assigned back to the 4th district or they'll be assigned to another area. That's to be determined. I will say a couple things just about integrity and accountability in general. Commander Hall and on down to every officer at the 1st district emphasize the importance of integrity, honesty, and working with the community. So I don't think that'll change, and it hasn't changed. we hold our officers responsible, and we'll continue to hold our officers responsible when they do things that are against policy or against the law. And that's really the way we operate at the First District and NPD in general.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you so very much, Captain Herbeck. We appreciate you being here, and thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Just looping back around, I just wanted to make sure that no one from MPD 2 had joined. Okay, we will move forward with the Office of the Mayor, Ward 2 Mayor's Liaison. Andrea. Do you want me to?
Sharing the PowerPoint.
You're going to share? Or you want me to share?
Can you share?
Yep, sure.
Hello, everyone. So I'll have my business card here as well, and I'll put it here.
Can we have you use the microphone so that people can hear you online? Thank you.
No, I think I'm okay. Okay, testing. Hello, everyone. I'm the Ward 2 liaison for the mayor, for the community service and community relations and service department. Sorry for my raspy voice. I have a bit of an allergy. But I guess if you look at the slide, going to the first slide, that's me and my colleague Ty. So we're available to answer any questions, be a liaison for you all and our local agencies as well. If you have a problem, an issue, or you were just wanting to look for resources in the government. And then we can skip to slide 8 because I know we are limited with time. So what's happening, I'll be talking about what's happening in March, also a couple of deadlines coming up. For example, this month, there's residential street sweeping. That started March 3rd, and it's supposed to end this Friday. And it's basically DPW and DDOT, they were coordinating to sweep areas that had not been swept, just now that we're entering the spring season. But that is about to end. If you could move to the next slide, please. As you all know, there is a lot of people getting fired right now in the federal government. So what DCHR, they're hosting a career event this Friday, and they're hoping to hire a lot of people on the spot. So if you know of anyone that could use this resource, the link is there. I believe this PowerPoint will also be distributed to you all. If they're available on Friday, that would be one of the best places to go. You can get your resume checked, a headshot, and talk to different local agencies as well. And that's happening this Friday. If for some reason you can't attend or someone that you know can attend, please feel free to email me. I'm happy to connect you with an agency that they may be interested and flag and let them know that you're looking for employment. Next slide, please. So 2050, DC 2050. So we're really, for this, it's kind of like a survey. If you are a resident, which you are all of DC, it's your part to play shaping the future of our city. So here in the survey, if you click here, it will ask you what your hopes and your dreams are for the city for the year 2050. So you can express any concerns, any ideas, and that's one way to get involved. And that was launched this month. Next slide, please. Fiscal year 26. Not sure if any of you attended. We had 3 engagement budget forums 2 weeks ago. And if you weren't able to attend, there is a link there that you can put in all your information on how you think the mayor should spend the money for fiscal year 26. So if you weren't able to attend any of those meetings, those forums, please go there. Next slide, please. This is a little bit about the Rental Act. I think I've covered that last time. Next slide, please. The the RFK. So that's also something very huge happening now. There is a link as well to get more information. I know there's going to be a couple of events coming up, but we really want to hear from you all on how the mayor should be using those spaces. So if you guys could go to that link as well. You could also email me, have a conversation with me, and I can pass this information to my colleagues and to leadership. Next slide, please. One thing that's really wonderful, if you guys know of any business that needs funding, we're giving out, I believe, I don't know the exact number, but we're giving a lot of grants, 10K, I think, to like, I want to say double digits of businesses. But the deadline for that is March 31st. And so we're really trying to scout businesses that need that extra funding. Next slide, please. Next slide. And this is the last thing. This is the leadership program. There's an internship for undergraduates and graduate students. If you know of anyone, please direct them to this slide or to the link. The local government is opening up their summer internships now. And that's it. Any questions?
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Commissioners, do you have any questions for the mayor's office?
Yes. I have, sorry. There we go. I have a request for assistance with the Department of General Services. It came to my attention last week during the performance oversight hearings for the Department of Human Services that the Green Court Shelter is now having a feasibility study for construction options under current zoning to be accomplished by the Department of General Services. And they have not answered my inquiries as to how we can get community input into what questions will be answered by that feasibility study, because we have so many questions. Thank you for the record.
I have just a couple of things. I know that the city right now is in the crosshairs, so to speak, of the current administration. And I know that there were two particular decisions that the mayor made regarding Black Lives Plaza and involving the removal of the homeless from the area near the State Department. I just wanted to express how upset I am, number one, about the homeless situation. And I have expressed this when I saw the news articles going out about it. I commented on it online, that a tweet creates action in the mayor's office is unacceptable. I have been asking for years to have a porta potty put outside of this library so that people do not have to defecate and pee on the street or in the flower beds when the library is closed overnight. I've been working with DHS. I've been communicating with everybody about the situation. And it just floors me that the mayor would take action on this, which isn't even our property, by the way. This is federal property that these people were on, not our responsibility to clear them, to move the homeless people. And it was a great charade that I believe that she put on that, oh, it was something that we didn't know about. We knew those people were there for very long. So it's just unacceptable, both of these incidents, without community engagement and without a clear understanding of why the city is violating its own rules. And why isn't there a bathroom out here for these people at night? These are homeless citizens that are around this library. Yes, there are lots of places that people can go, homeless shelters, etc. But what we hear is they're crap inside. And the one down here that's being renovated right now Hopefully, it will improve the situation so that people will want to go there. But these people need a bathroom. And I don't know how to articulate that, except maybe sending a letter or an email or a tweet to the White House. And maybe the president will tweet out that there needs to be a bathroom here, and the mayor will jump on that and put a bathroom outside. But I'm just, as a citizen and as an elected official, I just cannot believe that both of those incidents happened so quickly without any engagement from us as commissioners for Black Lives Plaza, which is in our area. And because, you know, DC is a city that we pride ourselves on coming together and celebrating our diversities. And basically what we're doing is we're just painting over that. And I'm just floored. And I hope that message goes back, because I've written an email about it. I've tweeted about it. I've put it on Facebook, and I have yet to hear from anybody in the mayor's office.
Yes, so those are a couple of comments and sentiments we've been receiving from the community. Ty and I have been collecting this and giving it to leadership. Today, Ty and I, we were in the Black Lives Plaza talking to residents and talking to business owners in that street. A lot of people are upset, a lot of people are hurt. So you're not the only one. There's a lot of people expressing these concerns. So I appreciate you telling me this. I'm gonna definitely take it back to leadership. Please know that, and I hope we can have this conversation. We can,
Yeah.
you know, have this
I appreciate
conversation
it.
outside of this meeting.
I just want the poop in the flower beds to be cleaned up, and for there to be a bathroom for these people, to have dignity for these individuals to go to the bathroom. And I can't believe as a commissioner that I have asked repeatedly in numerous ways, and it's not done. And yet a tweet gets a whole park of people moved. A tweet gets a plaza painted over or ripped up or whatever is going to happen to it. It floors me. And it's time that someone grows a backbone, because home rule is gone under this administration. In my opinion, home rule is gone under this administration. And it's time that we have leadership for the people that we elected as citizens, provide leadership for us. And another comment that I just want to make, and it may have been a slip of the tongue, but on RFK Stadium, it's not what the mayor wants to do with that land. It's about what the citizens of DC want to do with that land. It's not what the mayor wants. It's about what the citizens of DC want that piece of land to be redeveloped in. So that needs to also go back, because I'm not sure if that messaging was the messaging that you were told to put out or not. But this is about citizen engagement, and I'm not feeling the love from the mayor right now in any of these situations. So please make sure that gets articulated.
I will send that back to leadership.
And I'll tweet later, so maybe she'll see it then.
Sounds good.
The question I would have related to that is, how many of those decisions did the mayor make that are within her purview to make?
For what exactly?
Well, for Black Lives Matter, for RFK, does she have the authority to make those decisions on her?
Well, you know, she is the mayor of the city, so she does have.
Maybe you could take the microphone.
Sorry. So, yes, the mayor does play a big role in this. To tell you specific number, digits, or percentages, I would probably need to get back to you on that. But it is something that she wants to work with residents with in DC to, you know, accomplish these plans.
Thank you. We appreciate you being here. Oh, go ahead. Sorry. Is your mic on?
breaking news is that the House just voted on a bill that would cut $1 billion from DC's budget. How is the mayor going to be, what strategies, what is the mayor going to do to help DC bridge that gap?
Yeah.
Passes.
Yeah, so that news was just released yesterday, so that's still, we don't have a lot of answers, but we are, I will be communicating once we have more clarity on that. But that is something that we are hearing a lot about, and it just happened yesterday. So it is a conversation that we are working towards and providing answers. So I will keep you all updated on anything I know that is concrete.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We appreciate you being here.
One more piece about Black Lives Matter Plaza, which is in my SMD. I got to hear about this from a Facebook message from my son in Belgium, despite having emailed the mayor's office through Ty in January, offering myself to be a part of this conversation on behalf of my immediate neighborhood. I heard nothing back from leadership, nothing from the mayor's office. And as this has played out, I got the notice Friday night that they would start Monday morning, and DDOT promised close coordination with the commissioner for the affected businesses on 16th Street. Sunday night, I got a very dismissive and patronizing email saying it was all taken care of. So I'm canvassing my constituents myself in person and offered to relay information back to them. So just please convey to the mayor's office that this is being very poorly handled on the back end as well as the front end.
Okay, I will do that. Thank you.
Thanks so much. We'll move forward. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Sorry.
Okay, so I have a question for Adriana.
Yep.
As a follow-up to Commissioner Schenkel's concern about homelessness here. Mount Vernon Square, right in front of the refurbished car. Maybe give me the microphone. So this is a follow-up to Commissioner Schenkel's concern about with the unhoused or homeless here in our ANC. For many months, there's been a homeless encampment in Mount Vernon Square, right in front of now the former library, now the Apple Store. And of course, the city has spent millions of dollars, done a beautiful job in renovating the library as well as the surrounding grounds. And here there's been a homeless encampment for months. Finally, the district government sent something over and gave the person or persons, because we don't know, we never see who's in the encampment because they're all sort of covered up. I think the deadline was something like March 1st, maybe earlier. And then encampment is still there, day after day. Even though there's been a notice, it will be removed. Adriana, do you think you could look into that? Thank you.
Yes, I can look into that and I'll respond to you personally.
This is Lucas. I've been working with MPS on Miss Teresa. She used to be on G Street, and now she's taken up and has been occupying the Apple Store. And we're working with MPS to remove her items from the Carnegie Library.
Thank you.
We will now move forward with the Office of Ward 2 Councilmember Brooke Pinto. I saw Brian was on.
Hey, yes, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Well, good to be with you all. Councilmember Pinto is sorry that she couldn't be here as planned and looks forward to hopefully joining you all next month. As mentioned before, today was the last oversight hearing for the Judiciary and Public Safety Committee for MPD. So I think that may just have wrapped up or be wrapping up now. So we'll have her come back when it's an easier day, I guess. We are also joined tonight by Nikayla Gasper from our office. Nikayla is new to our office and she'll be attending a lot of your meetings on behalf of our office in the future. So hopefully you can see her as well. I'm not sure if you have the gallery view up. So my update, I have a pretty grim series of updates tonight. So I want to start by acknowledging that there's a lot of anxiety in DC right now for a number of reasons. You can always call or text 988. That number is 988 any time of day to speak with a free trained counselor who can listen, help you problem solve, and connect you to supports. Again, that number is 988. We know that the federal employees in the district are particularly impacted right now. And thank you to Adriana for covering a lot of the supports that DC is offering. Workers apply for unemployment in the jurisdiction where they are employed or were employed. So DC's Department of Employment Services and our office are preparing to receive a large increase in requests for assistance. That means that if someone worked in Ward 2 but lives in Maryland or Virginia, they are contacting our office usually for support or DOES for support. And the same goes for DC residents who may work in Maryland or Virginia. They might contact congresspeople's offices or state, county, other levels of government in other districts. Again, I went through this with the pandemic, unfortunately, so not happy to probably be going through it again. So we really do want to help anyone that needs help. So please reach out to our office, even if you were employed in Maryland or Virginia and you live in DC and Ward 2. We're happy to connect you to other offices and make sure that you can get benefits that you will need. DC is facing a very serious attack on home rule this week as Congress is preparing this continuing resolution to keep the federal government open and funded. The House of Representatives passed a version today that treats DC as a federal agency instead of as a state, county, and local government all in one that we are. In doing so, they're mandating that all agencies revert to their FY24 spending levels. As you all know, we're currently in FY25, and DC's FY25 budget was already approved and is already being spent, and it was already approved by Congress. So we would be forced to cut $1 billion from our current $21 billion budget immediately. This is money that we raised through local taxes that was, again, like I said, already approved by Congress. It will mean an immediate hiring freeze and cuts to essential staff and services. I'll just give you some examples. $75 million from MPD, which potentially would be 117 full-time employees, $210 million from WMATA, $50 million from DC Water, $38 million from Fire and EMS, $180 million from DC Public Schools, and $165 million from DC Public Charter Schools, and $178 million from the Department of Human Services. To say that allowing this to continue to move forward would be dire for DC is an understatement. Councilmember Pinto is speaking with members of Congress in both parties to educate them about all of these impacts and to try to get them to make some changes before the final vote. We do need representatives and senators to hear from you. So please, I know a lot of you are effective advocates and potentially lobbyists, and we need you to help because again, this happened pretty quickly. This weekend, I think, is when we really first found out about it. And a lot of people are saying it was a mistake, but it's a very big mistake for us and for a lot of our workers and for the services that we need and need more of, quite frankly. We don't need to be cutting people from public safety agencies right now, especially as the federal government is asking us to improve public safety. So it's really, not okay. Before this week's attack on our current budget, we had just received very grim DC revenue projections for the coming years from the chief financial officer, showing the massive impacts of the federal workforce reductions. The projection shows DC losing another $1 billion over the next 3.5 years from drops in the income tax, from income taxes, property taxes, and sales taxes. That is going to be, like I said, over 3.5 years. So I think, as the mayor said, we can at least plan for that because that is a projection, whereas we can't really plan for our current budget losing $1 billion. So there is a difference, and I know it's confusing because there's two different $1 billion figures out there right now, but they are both pretty bad. So again, like I said, a pretty grim update tonight. We are obviously expecting it to be a difficult budget year already, and programming and services are going to be cut, not generally added to. Councilmember Pinto outlined her budget priorities in a letter to Mayor Bowser this past Friday. And I will post, or I think I already posted a link in the chat so you can view that letter in its entirety. Her priorities continue to be investing in our public safety ecosystem, investing in downtown and our commercial corridors, and investing in our youth. We are trying to increase and retain staff at our public safety agencies. So you'll see that's the first focus of the letter. And again, just really harmful for us to have to consider cuts at this exact time. As I mentioned earlier, today was the last day of oversight hearings for the committee. We are now moving right into the FY26 budget, even though, again, we're talking about the FY25 budget again. But I'll give you the brief schedule for that. So on April 2nd, Mayor Bowser will transmit her proposed budget to the council. Again, that's April 2nd. There's then a public briefing on April 4th, followed by committee hearings for the budget from April 7th until May 1st, so most of April. And then the committee markups happen on May 7th to May 9th. And then there are 3 votes on the budget for DC. So don't forget, there's always 3 votes. The first is on May 28th. The second is on June 11th. And then the third vote is later in June. It has to be after that June 11th date, but usually doesn't get finalized just yet. So again, if you're advocating for anything in the budget, I know there's a lot to advocate for right now, but May 28th is kind of a critical date for the votes, for the first vote by the council. I think I'll stop there. I know it's a lot of numbers. Commissioner Lee, I know I owe you replies on at least 2 different issues, so I will hopefully get back to you tomorrow. And otherwise, happy to take questions and comments.
Thanks so much, Brian. Appreciate you being here. Commissioners, do you have any questions for Councilmember Pinto's office?
I do have a question. Can everyone hear me? The question I have is, when I read the news, which seems to be fairly accurate, that 800 million in new investments will be withdrawn, and those were certainly meant for a struggling downtown area. So is that the case? Will we lose out on $800 million to help the area of our ANC?
I guess, are you speaking about this week's threat of 1 billion or the 3.5-year threat?
Well, I'm speaking
Maybe get a little closer.
Basically on both things, but one and then the other.
Yeah, I think with this week's threat, it's not determined exactly where all the cuts are going to happen yet, because again, this is so unprecedented. In fact, a lot of people are still asking, where does that money go if it can't be spent? Because it's not federal money. It doesn't go back to the federal government. This is our own tax dollars, so it would probably just sit in our reserve account, which again doesn't really make sense. And our budget is pretty complicated. There's a lot of different accounts and numbers that have to, make mathematical sense, since we have a balanced budget, for example, and have for the past 20 years, I think. So I think we don't know yet, but that's kind of the fear of this, is it could be anything. And yes, a lot of our funding right now is to try to improve downtown. But I think that it would be almost, we're expecting it to have more impacts on staffing for a lot of agencies, which is obviously horrible. So I just don't think we know yet. In terms of the future spending, I think that's definitely something we'd be talking about in this current, as we prepare the FY26 budget, and future budgets. But I don't think that, certainly we're not planning that. If you read the council member's budget priority letter, downtown continues to be one of her top 3 priorities. And so I think the mayor's generally in agreement on that. So I'm hoping that you wouldn't see cuts in the future budgets. But again, if the numbers keep getting worse, I don't know. It's, unfortunately, yeah.
I agree, it is unfortunate.
Great. Any other questions for the council member's office? Any community questions? Mr. Marks?
Thank you, Brian, for your report. So in this whole debate of what's happening now, the R word has reared its head again, retrocession. As you probably know, Representative Jamie Raskin, a Democrat, liberal Democrat that represents the Maryland suburbs around the district like Bethesda, Rockville, and so on, proposed the other day that the district, the part of the district that's left after 1847, in which the part that's west of the Potomac was ceded to Virginia, including Alexandria, Arlington, so on, that now the rest of the district left would be ceded to the state of Maryland. It's a crazy idea, but you know, these ideas take on traction given the kind of atmosphere we have now. So I'm proposing that Brooke Pinto call him or somehow communicate to Representative Raskin that this is an idea that, you know, this is probably something that should not be focused on now, because the Republicans could somehow seize this idea, whether it's her or someone else from the council. It doesn't have to be public. There doesn't have to be a press release. Just quietly talk to him that maybe he should withdraw the idea until things settle down. Thank you.
Thanks, Howard, and I definitely hear you. I know Councilmember Pinto and I have met Representative Raskin before at events in the region, and so I will definitely make sure that she reaches out to him in his office.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brian. We appreciate you, and we look forward for Councilmember Pinto to be at our April 8th meeting.
You might have one hand raised too.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have a, thank you. Thank you. I'm sorry. I missed the hand in the window. Kasha?
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, great. I was just curious, the 500 million that was given to TED for the arena renovation, is there any way that that could be taken back to pay for the deficit of these program cuts? Or anything like that?
I'm not sure. I can definitely try to find out. I mean, I certainly, I don't know. I mean, like I said, this is all so fresh that it's hard to know. Even the question about, is this funding coming from our capital or our operating accounts? We have strict rules here where I think it's something like only 12% of our operating account can go towards paying off our debt, and then that changes the amount of capital funds, you know, or the amount of loans that we can take for capital funds. So again, it's all a little bit above my pay grade, but I will try to get an answer for you on that. But yeah, I'm just not sure.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks so much. We appreciate you being here. We'll now move forward with the downtown DC bid, and I saw Lucas was on.
Hey, everyone.
Hey there.
Well, hold on. I'm at home and my kids are running around, so let me go into a quiet space. Sorry about that. I appreciate everyone's time. It looks, you know, a lot going on in today's world with a lot of impact. You know, day by day, the news is changing. And I think this is a time to really lean in on our partnerships and working collectively to continue to run our city and create great experiences for our residents and our visitors. I mean, I think that's all the only focus we could have right now, I believe. I'm going to be sharing my screen. Is that okay?
Please.
Can everyone see it?
Yes.
Awesome. I just, you know, I like to start off these meetings by talking about some of the clean and safe data. I'm a firm believer that you know, people could understand data if you're able to share it, and I think it really puts value in a lot of the work that we're doing. You know, at a time particularly that I feel like you know, everyone has to show their value. So you know, a lot of the work that we do is really to keep our city clean, safe, and vibrant, right? I think that's important work in today's world. You know, we do this work, but we also have great partners with our city agencies that we work closely with: DPW, DDOT, the mayor's office, even our ANCs. We have great partnerships, and we're very thankful for those. I think it really makes our jobs easier. and hopefully we're able to show a lot of our value to our stakeholders. Our trash collection, January was such a big number with the inauguration. That's why you see such a big difference between January and February. Easily 8,000 of those bags were around inauguration festivities. Stickers, graffitis, as you can imagine, after inauguration, the amount of posters that went up all around our city. So our team spent a lot of that time of our time removing a lot of those posters. If you see graffiti or anything like that, please, send that over to us. We're out and about, but sometimes we miss things, and that's where I think our partnership and your eyes and ears as stakeholders really helps us cover more ground. Our personnel hours, obviously, with the inauguration, that's the big difference there, from 1,700 to 1,400 hours. Obviously, we're going to be spending, as with the shift in season from winter to spring, we tend to have a lot more hours around this time of the year because we pick up additional functions that are for the specific to the season. Watering. We're going to be doing new planters around the bid. We start pressure washing now that the weather is warm enough, so you'll see our teams out there pressure washing heavy trafficked areas. And so we'll start picking up a lot more hours. Our safety team continues to be out and about. Our completed routes went up about 200 completed routes. Our checkpoints are up. We've been working closely with our contractor who maintains our safety team. It's not an internal team, but the company, and just putting a lot of focus on making sure that they're being efficient. Our business wellness checks, that's a lot of visiting of the businesses that we have around the Chinatown corridor. And then we do that. We put so much focus on that because I think that's an opportunity for our teams to build relationships and gather information. As people build a relationship, people tend to share more. And that's why we think those are so critical to really getting an understanding of what our businesses are experiencing and finding ways to support them better. Some of the big activations that we were involved in and supported recently was the Lunar New Year Parade, which was an awesome event. And that's a big event that we support. Not only do we support it pre and post parade, but we also walk in the parade, and we're very thankful for that partnership that we have and being involved in the community, and just really creating such an amazing experience for the visitors that come to experience the parade. Like I stated earlier, a lot of the work that we're going to put focus on right now are transitioning into spring planting. Our hanging baskets will be going up in the next month. We're going to be the city drains. We clean those, particularly after the winter and stuff. Those are important to keep clean with May showers that are coming up, making sure that we keep those clean. And just continue to do a lot of stakeholder engagement. I think that's a big part of this job, and our role as the bid is really providing value for our stakeholders and being here to support our stakeholders and bridging the gap between our public agencies and our private partnerships. The safety team has been operating now 11 months. And this time we've done over 4,000 business wellness check-ins. That's pretty much over 100 businesses that we're hitting throughout the Chinatown corridor. That's really about building a community and partnerships with our stakeholders. And a lot of that work is really being able to be tracked through through our app that we developed around the safety team, and it's actually going to be rolling out to the rest of our operational team. And that's pretty much a lot of the work, the coverage that I wanted to discuss today. Happy to take any questions. I know Nancy, thank you so much for coming to the day center yesterday. I know you met with Rachel and Samala, and hopefully you were able to see some of the incredible work that Rachel and the foundation and our organization does to provide support for our unhoused community.
Thank you so much, Lucas. We appreciate you. Commissioners, do you have any questions for the bid?
Yes, Lucas.
Lucas, I have a question really close.
Yeah, how's it going, Thomas?
At the intersection of 7th and D, there are these plastic planters on the street. There's some that are larger, some that are smaller.
They're grayish, light gray.
What's that? Yeah, exactly. And they're
Yeah.
great. But they seem to keep moving around. They seem to be kept being pushed toward the sidewalk when originally the idea was that they'd be pushed out further onto the street to force cars to, give more, to drive around them. And I think it was originally designed as a pedestrian safety measure. Is that a downtown DC bid initiative, or is it a DOT initiative? And who is coming out to plant them, and who keeps moving them around?
We plant them, we maintain them. I think a lot of that has to do with people wanting to park in those areas. So I believe that really the driver of those things moving, that is definitely not being moved by any of our public agencies or the bid.
And if we wanted to remove them back to their original location, is that something that the downtown bid could do?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll talk to our team and just make sure that we keep eyes on them and moving them out away from the curb line. And yeah, we'll definitely start keeping an eye. We have them pretty much up and down 7th Street. So we know exactly where they're at. And we'll make sure that especially now that we're getting into the season of replanning and refurbishing, touching them up, we'll be able to do both of them at the same time.
Thank you, Lucas.
No problem. Thank you.
And Lucas, Jim Swart here. I don't have a question. I do have a comment, and that's to further thank you for having your help team come out and help us with the individual who was in a bus stop, and you offered enough help and assistance so that the person has gotten the help and assistance that he needs. And certainly it's made matters much better at that corner, because now with people coming back to their offices, we have people using the bus stop as a waiting place for the bus to come and that sort of thing. So thank you very much. Please pass that along to your team.
Oh, no, absolutely. Thank you so much for flagging that. Honestly, I'm a big believer in that we do this collectively. So when you see things, please shoot me an email, and my team and I are able to react and fix and provide support. Sometimes it takes us a little bit of time, particularly around the unhoused community, because we have to be thoughtful, and understanding that also our unhoused community has rights as well. So we appreciate your patience, and we're and working collectively.
Well, thank you very much.
Are there any community questions? Can I go over here first? Can you use the mic, please, so they can hear you? Thank you. There you go.
Hi, Lucas. First of all, thanks for the work that you're doing. I'm Justin. I'm with the Save Chinatown Solidarity Network. we're connected with and advocate for some of the tenants associations in the area of longtime residents, and also more recently, businesses that are affected by displacement due to developments and real estate developers. I wanted to ask you, sorry, first of all, I want to just say that maybe our network could reach out to you at some point with some collaboration around specifically the business areas. And then second, I want to ask you about the outreach that you've been doing in terms of the business wellness check-ins. So what exactly does that constitute?
It really it's about our safety team and our supervisors going into the businesses. How are you doing? It's about building relationship, right? How's everything? And then just starting to establish a presence. And then daily, we're entering a variety of different businesses, and then asking, hey, how can we support you? And as you build the relationship, you're able to start gathering more information. A lot of the support that usually the businesses are asking about is usually around the unhoused community that might be impacting their businesses, or about cleanliness issues around the area and how we could support them.
Okay, thank you for that. So it's mostly around like safety and cleanliness mostly. Is there going to be, for example, like other areas of small business support, like, with, I guess, facade improvements or things like that, that the bid is planning on doing?
I mean, we have no plans right now directly around facade improvements, but we are open to, like, if individual businesses have specific needs. I think one of the things we're really good at is either connecting them to agents, public agencies, or grant opportunities that they might be able to qualify for.
Okay, thank you. And then the last question I had was, I know that some of the other bids have accountability mechanisms in place, outreach to community members for, decide or nominating potential board members or public hearings. Is there anything like that for the downtown DC bid? Especially as like a tax collecting organization. I think I was trying to look into more how downtown DC bid operates specifically, but there really isn't much information on how community members, tenants, business owners can be direct advocates for their own interests.
I mean, no, that is the our role as a bid is really to be advocates for our stakeholders. So there's many ways to get involved in the bid, either through board seats, community meetings, just emailing, and just starting to build a relationship. That's how bids. That is our value, I believe, is really we're here to work for our stakeholders, and that's I think that is the way we approach running our organization and a lot of the work that we do. So if that's something that you're interested in, and if you know individuals that might be, I think we should connect, and I could point you in the right direction within the organization, for different support.
All right, thank you. I'll reach out to you.
Yeah, absolutely. My email is Lucas with a K at downtowndc.org.
Howard, did you want? Howard, then you in the back.
Howard, I know you're in there. I would love to hear you, man.
Yeah, Lucas, you're doing a great job. I want to talk a little bit about the problem we're continuing to have with the especially the Lime, not only the e-bikes, but the e-scooters. Unlike Capital Bike Share, where there is a docking station at the corner of H and 8, like the number 8, there's nothing like that at 7th and H, right by the metro station. This has been going on for quite some time, especially the operator or the owner of the the Lime system, which includes the e-bikes and the e-scooters. They lie them on the sidewalk. It's a very busy, it's gotten busier now that the Caps are in contention to be in the playoffs. We have people in our building who are handicapped, who some in wheelchairs, some that need help, and especially those who are sightless. It's a great tripping hazard, and yet the city does nothing about this. It's like day after day. There are scores of these e-bikes and e-scooters that are laying on the sidewalk, probably in violation of the Limes agreement with the city, yet nothing is done about it. Do you think that you could put that as a priority for the bid? Thank you.
Absolutely. I could not agree with you more. It is one of the things, one of my biggest pet peeves I have. It's complete disorganization. I think clean and safe a lot of it is around perception. And when you look down the street and you see those things lying down, first of all, it's disorganization, and it makes it very unsafe. It is one of the things I've been working very closely with on DDOT about figuring out solutions to how the scooters and the bike shares that are not capital bike share, because at least they're docked, right? Finding ways to improve the end result, which is where the users leave them, but also the riding of those bikes and scooters on the sidewalk. I've almost been hit so many times where individuals are driving 10, 15 miles an hour on the sidewalk and these things. And that is something that we're working on right now with DDOT. And we've are engaging with all the lines and the bike shares to really improve that. So yes, we are on it. And I think it's something that we have to fix because it is very challenging.
Yeah, thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
And this will be our final question.
Hi, good evening. Just an administrative question, a little bit easier, and thank you for everyone's presentations. I understand that the recordings are available online, but I didn't see any recent minutes to reference. I just wanted to ask if all of these presentations are included in the minutes so that we can reference them after.
Great question. The presentations historically have not been included, but we can see if we can do that. Yeah. Thank you for that. We would like to move forward with local events that impact the community. We have one item that is on the consent agenda, which is a Fit DC Her Story 5K and Children's Dash. We did not, this happened this past weekend. They were not able to get to us in time to get a letter of support for that, but would like us to close the record by sending one for them on that. Thank you. And I will second that. All those in favor? So 4 voting in favor of that. So we'll send that off for Her Story, huh? It was a good event. It was a good event. It was on the news. And now we have one additional item that Nakia Shelton will present for us. This is regarding parking restrictions around Capital One Arena.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yep.
Hi, everyone. Anika Shelton, and I'm here with Shelton Group on behalf of DC CAP, DC College Access Program. We're helping them obtain permits for their upcoming event on April 11th, 2025. We are requesting the ANC support in our application to DDOT for no parking in the surrounding streets of the Capital One Arena. Just a little bit about DC College Access Program, or DC CAP. They are a nonprofit organization whose mission is to equip DC students for college and career success by helping them access and attain meaningful college education credentials with little to no debt. DCCAP has worked with students, parents, and educational partners for over 20 years to inspire, counsel, and provide fundamental support to DC students, the majority of them which come from low-income families. So a little bit about the event is it will be on April 11th, which is a Friday. It is from 10 to 2 p.m. It is a signing event which will have citywide seniors that will be going to college for a signing day that will celebrate the hard work, dedication, and achievements of these seniors and their commitments to higher education. Our request is to, like I said, have emergency no parking on the street surrounding the DC Capital One Arena, and then one street closure on F Street for between 6th and 7th, so right in front, typically where MPD kind of closes off the street, and that would be used for drop-offs. There, we are expecting about 5,000 students, approximately 110 school buses. It won't just be DC students, will be also students from Virginia as well attending the event. Like I said, it's from 10 to 2 p.m. The event will be pep style rally with bands, inspirational speakers, potentially celebrities, athletes, and other performers. And the event is open to the press. So I have a pamphlet or a flyer, actually, a one-pager kind of detailing what I just went over, and then also our traffic control plan, which we have presented to DDOT or submitted to DDOT for our permit application. And in the traffic control plan, it lists the parking requests in the blocks. Any questions?
And could you just quickly go over the blocks?
Sure.
Is it all the way around? the
It
block?
is, yep. So it is the 700 block of 7th Street, 700 block of 8th Street, the 700 block of G Street, 800 block of G Street, 600 block of 7th Street, 700 and 800 block of F Street, the 500 block of 7th Street, the 700 and 600th block of 6th, and then the 600 block of F.
Got it. So kind of the Capital One South.
Yep. Yes. So we've already submitted our application to the Mayor Special Events Task Group for that hopeful closure on F Street between 6th and 7th. And we did this. I know I met with you guys last year. We did this last year, and it went off well. So we are still hoping for the ANC support.
I think this is a great opportunity for students. I'd like to move that we send a letter of support.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Lee. All those in favor? 4 voting in favor of that. Awesome. We will get that letter off and we'll
Thank
copy you
you.
on that. Thank you. Next is our alcoholic beverage cannabis licensing. We have one item to revisit from our last meeting, and this is 709 D Street. D Street, I'm sorry, I left the D out there, 709 D Street Northwest. Lucky Danger Triangle LLC, Lucky Danger, a new retailer's Class C tavern. This is Abra 131210. Is anybody representing the establishment? Oh, there you go. Hi. Hi. Yeah, please, if you could.
Hi, everyone. My name is Tim Ma. I am one of the owners of Lucky Danger. My team was representing us last time. I'm sorry I wasn't able to make it, but I'm here today. Here to answer any questions about the restaurant that we're looking to open, and also respectfully request a letter of support for the stipulated license from the ANC. We look to open sometime in April, so that's coming up soon. So if there are any questions, I'd love to answer them if my team didn't answer them last time. We got the placard up, yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
the placard.
Yes, yeah, the placard is up.
There
We
it
made
is.
sure we got that up in time.
Got it. So the placard is up. I'll just display the placard. so that we are all on the same page. So this is for the retailer's Class C Tavern. And it's going to be indoor seating for 125, a sidewalk cafe with a capacity of 30, with a total occupancy load of 199. You are also requesting carry out and delivery endorsement, as well as holiday extension of hours. The hours of the cafe outside is 11 a.m. to, I'm sorry, the alcoholic beverages sales is from 11 a.m. to 12 a.m. Sunday through Saturday, and carry out the same times. Any questions, commissioners?
I do have a question. Is this where the Red Apron was?
Correct. It's the Red Apron and Partisan Space.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's an alley next.
There is an alley if you're facing the building to the right, correct?
I have a question about Kata. When is that opening?
I am one of the minority partners of CATA as well. That, I think the last I caught up with them was that it is still waiting for CO. So it might be a couple steps away. With my luck, they'll probably open at the same time.
Yeah.
Hey, Tim, this is Lucas from downtown DC bid. Hey,
Hi,
I want to
Lucas.
thank you. How's it going? I want to thank you so much, man, for continuing to invest in downtown. You're a great chef. I know you're an incredible operator, and we really appreciate the tremendous support that you bring in for our city. So thank you. Keep on rocking, man.
I appreciate that voice of support. Yes. I've been in this area for 37 years. I've had restaurants in DC for the past, I don't know, 9. The next 3 that we open, hopefully more than that, will be in downtown DC.
That sounds great. I'd like to move that we send a letter of support and a letter of support for the establishment and a support for a stipulated license. Seconded by Commissioner Groff. All those in favor? 4 voting in favor of that. So we will get that off and send that over. Just keeping in mind that you will have to go to DDOT for your sidewalk cafe. Okay, just wanted to make sure that you were aware. Sometimes that slips by people.
I appreciate that reminder, though. Yes.
Awesome. Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you all very much.
Now we will move forward with transportation and public space. First up, we have, and good luck, by the way. And first up, we have 615 H Street Northwest. This is DDOT 455363 for a high, I guess is a high density development of an 11-story residential building with a parking garage. Is someone representing the establishment here?
Yes, this is AJ Luce. Kevin McCormick and myself will be presenting 615 H Street today.
Yes.
Commissioner Schenkel, if you could share our presentation, that would be
absolutely. Hang on.
Wonderful. So as we're pulling it up, I'd just like to start and say that this is a project that ANC has seen many, many times before and has supported many times before. We actually presented I Street to the ANC last month in advance of our HPRB meeting. We were thankful for.
Is this what you want me to pull?
No, I think maybe I can do it if that's helpful.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Let me just see here. Let's see if I have another one here.
Did that pop up?
I did not see it.
Okay, hold on.
Looks like you're coming up now. There you go.
All right. So
I do have that in another space. Sorry.
yes. Um, I just want to get.
You present top right there.
Yeah. As I was saying, this is a project that the ANC has supported many times before, and we were in front of the ANC last month in advance of our HPRB meeting. We're thankful for the ANC's unanimous support of I Street, and I am happy to report that we received HPRB approval. So thank you again for all of that. Just to reorient everyone to the site, we have I Street to the north, 8th Street to the south, and then it's bounded by 7th and 6th Street. And today we're going to be talking about H Street, and we're here to garner the support from the ANC for the streetscape, which of 8th Street, which is under construction. First, we'll share some existing condition photos. This is a picture of I Street existing condition today. Again, currently under construction. And I'll flip it to the alley as well. This is the alley in the rear between H and I Street. And then I'm just going to share a picture of what a couple of the renderings will look like upon completion. Again, this is the front of the building from 8th Street. And then this is a picture of the rear as anticipated in the alley. So much improvements to both conditions. And now I'm going to flip it over to Kevin to walk us through the streetscape plans, and I'll continue to run the slide.
Hi, everyone. Kevin McCormick, also with Monument Realty. Thanks for your time. So this here is our public space exhibit that is currently in review for our DDOT streetscape permit. That's the full sheet plan. And then we have some zoomed in portions on the next slide so you can see it a little bit better. So this is 8th Street. This one's pretty straightforward, pretty narrow street frontage. But as you can see, the improvements in work consist of the new brick sidewalk, bike racks, planters against the building, new retail and apartment entrances, and closing that curb cut to the former parking lot. Next slide's the alley. And not much here. I mean, that'll include the Pepco vaults, which will also serve the I Street property just to the north. So a portion of those are on the private property in the alley, and then a portion in the public space. And we have Pepco approval on those. And then exit discharges out the back. And then again, highlighting the features I mentioned. I will also note there is no garage in this building. I know that was mentioned, but if you notice, there is no garage entrance. So again, planters, bike racks, remove curb cut, new curb and gutter, new brick sidewalk, and the entrances to the new building. And then here's just the rendered elevation, so you see it a little bit better. We've preserved the former Ming's restaurant facade. You know, if anyone's walked by, you see that currently braced now. So that bracing is complete and demo is complete. And so that will be preserved and incorporated into the building. And then I believe the final slide is just a photo of that current condition.
Got it. So you are strictly asking for support for the streetscape, which includes the installation of those bike racks, planters, the new sidewalk, and closing the curb cut. Closing the curb cut. Is that correct?
Yes, this is for the DDOT streetscape permit for 55363.
Got it. Yes, got it. Okay. Terrific. Awesome. Commissioners, do you have any questions?
How does this intersect with the public, the pedestrian alleyway that was talked about last month?
Sorry, I
Yes,
couldn't quite hear that.
The question was related to the alleyway, how does it relate to that? And I don't think it does. This is coming up next.
No, actually, the pedestrian alleyway,
Oh, it is.
I think we're just presenting 8th Street today, and and that can be removed from the agenda.
Oh, gotcha.
So quite all right.
Yes, remove it. Terrific. So yes. Any other questions? Any community questions? Oh, go ahead.
Hey, Kevin, I have a question. I know that 608 and 64 was presented last month. And I was looking forward to asking a question about this, seeing that it was on the agenda. But just a quick question: is there any opportunity to incorporate some, community art in that alleyway? I noticed that there's a mural that will be covered up by the new development, and I'm wondering whether there might be an opportunity for you to engage. I think some of the members of the community are here, in fact, in a public art effort in that alleyway. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm happy to field that. Interesting enough, that is a mural that we worked with Lucas and the downtown bid to put up with the full understanding that it was going to be temporary, just given that it was construction was going to take place there. That was fully understood. And yes, we've looked at different ways that we can work with DemPed in activating that alley as best as possible, and tastefully doing that. That's certainly something we're definitely exploring and looking into. We want to do in a major way. So absolutely, yes.
Terrific. And just so that we're recentering that we're talking about the 8th Street now, and not that alleyway. Any other community questions or concerns? Please, one person coming forward.
Okay. Hey, Jay. My name's Zoe. I'm also with the Save Chinatown Solidarity Network. I'm joined here with my comrades Justin and Lauren in the room. I know that you've met with some folks in our organization already, and so we appreciate your communication and willingness to stay in touch with us. My first question is if we'll get another chance to talk to y'all about that alleyway at another meeting. I'm sorry if I missed that.
Yes, absolutely. And as you know, you guys were invited to we had a meeting on February 27th with Save Chinatown Solidarity Network. It was a fruitful meeting. We talked about being committed to being good neighbors, discussing potential retail partnerships, and figuring out potential ways to work in the community space. So that is something that we're committed to.
And an added note, just to clarify too, the 8th Street portion is under construction now. I Street will follow. So we will have, future, hearings related to that project.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you. And so would you be willing to continue having conversations with folks in our group from the Save Chinatown Network about the 8th Street project as well?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll continue to be good neighbors and have an open dialogue with you guys.
Thanks so much. Yeah, I think what we would love to hear from y'all and to get the commissioner's support on is an enforceable mechanism for us to continue having formal conversations that involve members of the community and the long-term working class residents of Chinatown whose experience being residents in the neighborhood and availability of affordable housing, is directly impacted by projects like yours. So we would love to hear that commitment from you all and a commitment from commissioners to condition your approval of what we're discussing today and future monument projects, both here on H Street and on I Street and in the alleyway, on a commitment to negotiate some sort of enforceable mechanism with the community going forward.
Yeah, as I mentioned, we'll continue to have an open dialogue, and we've been shown that since our first kind of conversation, and that's, yes, we'll continue to, again, have an open dialogue, of course.
And I saw a question in the chat too that I'll answer and shed some light on your point too, as far as affordable housing. In the H Street building, there's 72 units. And we do have an IZ affordable component along with that. So, along with obviously being excited to invest in downtown, but excited to bring housing to the area as well that, currently has none, at least in that lot.
Yeah, this is part of the Housing in Downtown program, which is an initiative through the city, which I think is a great program. And yes, we'll have IZ units here as well.
And excuse me, I saw the other question. I believe they're going to have 18 units that are affordable in the H Street building, if you happen to know that offhand.
So H Street will have 8.
8.
Which is more than 10% of the building.
Got it. Perfect. I understand I understand the reason for your question. We cannot force someone to negotiate in a situation like this. We can ask people to negotiate, but our operation as a commission cannot force someone to come to the table to negotiate, especially if they have a right of use for the property that they have there. So I think that what we hear is we hear from the developer that they're willing to continue these conversations with us as we move down this path, and how we can continue to enhance and incorporate community engagement into that process. But putting something in a motion or a restriction at this point is not, we cannot do that at this point.
Okay. I understand. Yeah. Thank you for that response. And yeah, we're familiar with the Housing in Downtown Tax Abatement Program. We know it's a great program for developers, and we'd love to stay in touch on how we can think more creatively about truly affordable housing, about going maybe beyond IZ, and making this project something that truly benefits the more frequently overlooked members of the community. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Anybody have any other questions?
Michael, is there any way as commissioners to have some advisory role in this process and the conversations from just the open-ended?
Sure, we can certainly ask to convene meetings. Sure. Okay.
Chinatown solidarity network is not just on their own, but we are in some kind of observer role or facilitator role or something like that.
Make sure you speak into the microphone.
I know, but
Reach it. Yes. Yeah.
yeah, to summarize, I asked if some of us individual commissioners or in some form, we as commissioners could be a part of this process so that the Save Chinatown Solidarity Network is not just trying to manage an unwieldy process with a lot of layers to it on their own.
Sure. Absolutely. We can certainly do that.
Okay,
as a commissioner.
they're in your SMD.
Yes.
They're not in my SMD, but I have taken an interest in this, so
yeah,
I'm happy to participate in some form.
That's great. That's awesome. That's terrific, and I think that commitment can happen easily.
Great.
Awesome. Any other questions about the application before us? Okay. I'd like to move that we send a letter of support for the streetscape process at 615 H Street Northwest. Seconded by Commissioner Lee. And all those in favor? So 4 of 4 commissioners voting in favor of that. We can certainly, we'll certainly reach out to the developers and we'll plan some.
Yes, it just seems unwieldy in a monthly commission meeting context to try to facilitate a better relationship that will bear actual results.
Absolutely. Point well taken. Thank you. Next on our agenda is 919 19th Street Northwest, support for common ground and interactive public art that features 25 interconnected wooden tables and benches with different homemade mosaic patterns.
They're gorgeous.
Do we have someone from the
Golden Triangle
Golden
bid.
Triangle with us?
Good evening, everybody.
Hey.
How you doing, Commissioner Schenkel? Good to see you again. Long time.
Good seeing you as well.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Andrew Huff. I'm with the Golden Triangle Business Improvement District. We are the central business district of Washington, and our boundaries are roughly DuPont Circle to the north, Pennsylvania Avenue to the south, 16th Street to the east, and 21st Street to the west. I'm joined this evening by Deirdre McWilliams, who is also on our bid staff, and Deirdre is the Director of Public Art and Activations for the Golden Triangle. We're here tonight seeking 2 separate letters of support. One is for a piece of art that you see before you, which Deirdre will give you a little more information on. And then the second item is for a letter of support for another public art exhibit that we're working on through a grant we got from the Office of Planning through the Streets for People program. So these are 2 separate public space applications before DDOT, and we're seeking 2 separate letters of support for them. Deirdre will reiterate this at the conclusion of her presentation, but there's a timeliness factor involved in this as well. In terms of when we need the letters. And then before I hand it off to Deirdre, I'll just say that I've had the great pleasure of working with Commissioner Groth already on several issues. Her SMD is the only part of 2C that's within the Golden Triangle. But we've gotten off to a great start, and I look forward to working with her and the rest of you as we move forward together. So with that, I'll pass it off to Deirdre, and she'll tell you a little bit about these 2 applications. Thank you.
Thanks, Andrew. Hi, everyone. Can you all hear me?
We can hear you. Thank you.
Awesome. So Common Ground is an artwork currently installed in Golden Triangle. It is at Moreau Park, which is a National Park Service. It is really a picnic table that has a mosaic top, and it's interconnected. And the idea of the picnic table, we installed this in 2021, was to bring people together. And so often when you come out to Moreau Park on a sunny, warm day, lots of people are eating lunch at this location. We also here at Murrow Park have a program that we call Lunch Culture, where we try to bring different sort of arts and culture to Murrow Park while people are dining on this table. Unfortunately, we need to move this piece of art off of National Park Service land. And we would like to, tell me if you can see my screen change. Well, this is a little bit about the artist Risa Puno. She's a New York City based artist, and she really does create these playful, immersive works. And she's really focused on bringing people together. That's sort of the thrust of her artwork. And so we would like to move the common ground to right outside of the square in public space on 19th Street, 919 19th Street. You can see a better picture there and the rendering of it. All of our artwork is signed, meaning there are signs accompanying all of the art, and we will place a sign on this saying that all are welcome to dine here, just to make sure and clarify that it's not part of the square, that you can bring your lunch, anyone can come and hang out in this public space on this cool piece of art. And you can see those are the actual designs on the tabletops. You can see each are different and handmade. We recently restored this, so we're constantly replacing the tiles to make the artwork look nice and fresh. And there's another rendering. Any questions?
And I'll also add for the commissioner's benefit that we work very closely with all of our members and property owners in the bid. And we've been working very closely with Tishman Speyer, who's the owner of the square. And they are also in support of this and very much looking forward to have this having this addition to their building. And happy to answer any questions before we move on to the next.
Commissioners, Commissioner Lee.
How did you pick that particular location?
This one, believe it or not, it took a very long time. The artwork is 21 feet by 21 feet. It's quite large. It's massive. It's 4,500 pounds. And site is very important to public art. So this was one of very few sites that could accommodate this artwork in Golden Triangle.
Awesome. I love the piece, so I think it's fantastic. Location. Community have any questions? I'd move that we send a letter of support for this project.
May I ask a question first?
Sure, please.
The building that is just adjacent to this, what is in that building?
That's the square. If you're familiar with the square food court that used to be International Court, it's lovely in there. If you're ever in my SMD, there are amazing restaurants in there.
And I'm aware of that.
Yeah.
Was asking.
Right.
And then it's office space. Other than that, it's offices. It's owned by Tishman Speyer. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Then I'd like to move that we send a letter of support for the project. Seconded by Commissioner Lee. All those in favor?
Yes.
So 4 of 4 commissioners voting in favor of that. Awesome. And is this the one that's due tomorrow?
It is,
Okay.
yes. And so is the next one that I'll just sort of
Got it.
roll
Got
into. And so we so appreciate you all. So the next one is we've received the Golden Triangle bid received from Office of Planning, as Andrew said, a Streets for People grant. And what the Golden Triangle is intending to do is use public art as a catalyst to bring people into the neighborhood, to get people off the National Mall, out of Lafayette Square, into the Golden Triangle to see the art, and then to shop, dine, linger, hang in our parks. And so we're hoping that art can be this catalyst, getting people into the neighborhood. So we're putting together a public art exhibition of 6 pieces of art that will be in our neighborhood. And the goals of the art are to be sophisticated, interactive, immersive, have a daytime and a nighttime presence, as well as being very of high quality and durable. So this is just sort of an overview of the area, and you can sort of see the traffic, the vehicular and the visits of people coming into our neighborhood. Here's the White House, and the public art exhibition will start on the 800 block of Connecticut Avenue and happen within Farragut Square and around Farragut Square. And then here is a quick layout, a quick layout of the artworks and their locations as well. So this is all in public space, although it does seem like it may be in private space, but all of these locations are in public space except number 5 and 6, which is on National Park Service land, and we are seeking a separate permit that will have to go to the Commission of Fine Arts and NCPC likely for both of those, and that is in progress. But for all of the others, we're going, we put in a permit through DDOT. So the first one, which will be at the 800 block of Connecticut Avenue, is by an artist duo called Hybakoza, and this piece is called Ripple, and it is a polished stainless steel, so it like has a mirror effect with these tiny little cutouts, and within the sculpture it will be lit, and so on the bottom you can see the kind of effect that it will have at night, sort of a dazzling effect on the concrete pavers below. The next is by an artist, Hiroshi Jacobs, and team. And Hiroshi I call hyperlocal. He actually works in the Golden Triangle. He lives in Ward 6. He's an architect and an artist. And so this is a piece where people can actually enter into these colorful sculptures. The next is another local artist, Michael Ein-Servet, also hyper-local, although not living in Golden Triangle, but on 14th Street, so very close by. And he is very much inspired by nature and creates these pieces of art that kind of has the rugged beauty of mountains and other naturalistic feels. He's also creating a piece outside the Farragut West Metro Station in public space. These are just sort of schematic renderings, but they'll be of a powder-coated stainless steel of these sort of willow leaves, kind of creating this delicate leaf form with this idea of bringing in the greenery and the nature from Farragut Square Park and crossing the street over to the Farragut West Metro Station. This piece, Living Lantern, will go in Farragut Square. It's made out of wood and it's lit within with LED lights. And it looks like there are these little wood wings on the pieces, on the circular artwork, and it's kinetic. So those pieces will move in the wind. And the last piece is an acrylic illuminated bench also that will be installed in Farragut Square Park.
And I'll add, similar to the other piece, even though all these pieces will go in public space, we have received approval from all the adjacent property owners. We would never proceed with the project of this scale without the blessing of the adjacent buildings. And I can say emphatically that all the buildings that will have this art are very excited and very happy that we're doing this at zero cost to them. They don't pay for any of it.
And there'll be ancillary programming. So we'll have programming that is associated with the artworks in the park, really to bring out community and people to experience this free world-class art and get to then hang out in Golden Triangle.
And we're working on a big kickoff event in September. I'll make sure that you're all invited, but it'll be with the mayor and the council member, et cetera, and we'll kind of be the unveiling of all of this.
Sounds
That's it.
awesome. I love the art pieces. They look really, really super.
Thank you.
We need
Thanks.
more of this throughout the entire city. Thank you so much to Golden Triangle I mean, this is awesome. You all have an incredible art program. And thank you so much for making it in public space. We love it.
Thanks, neighbor.
Yeah, thank you.
Commissioners, do you have any questions? Any questions from community?
Move that we provide a letter of support.
I'll second. Seconded by Commissioner Swart. All those in favor? So 4 of 4 commissioners voting in favor of that. So we'll get that letter of support off to you
Thank you.
tomorrow.
Thank you very much. And we will be back in April with another piece of public art to present to you. But for now, thank you very much for your support, and we look forward to working with you all in the future.
Thank you all so much. Appreciate
Thank
it.
All right.
you. Have a
Good
good
night.
evening.
Thank you.
Hey, commissioners, this is Lucas. I'm sorry to add this, but I just got approval about a art program that we are an installation that's going to happen in the next few weeks. Do you mind if I share it just to present it? I'm so sorry.
Can we add you let's add you at the end if we can.
Awesome.
That we keep ourselves on track here, but we'll be happy to entertain that. Terrific. Next on our agenda is curbside changes to implement WMATA Butter Bus Network redesign in ANC 2C. Is anybody from DDOT on with us? Okay, hold on one second. Pull this up. I'm going to share my screen here for folks, just so that we can respond to this. Okay. What is being proposed here is the addition of a new bus stop, 100-foot metro bus zone for a new southbound bus at Massachusetts Northwest and 12th Street Northwest for the D90 route operating. This will be, the curb would be a no standing, no parking zone. This curb space currently serves as a no standing or parking zone during rush hours. However, they would be removed and it would become a permanent bus stop. And there's also the removal of 5 nighttime weekend parking spaces to convert the eastbound bus stop for a new bus stop. There are 2 different zones. I'll just go down here to the map. We're talking about this bus zone, this bus stop here.
Commissioner Swart has looked at this a lot, so.
Oh, go ahead. You want to go?
Yes, I've been, I won't say that I've been obsessed over it, but I do have some clients who live in that area. But basically, what's wrong with their proposal is that on the south side of Massachusetts Avenue, bus zone 2 and
4
and bus zone 4 belong to
my SMD.
her SMD and my SMD as 2. On the other side of the street, on the north side of the street, that's in a totally different
That's in 2F.
yeah.
Right.
And so
They're not even our district.
they're not ours. I wrote to them and indicated that we would be willing to take a look at this and rectify it or deal with it, as long as they acknowledge that we do not have a responsibility for the north side of Mass Avenue, that it belongs to ANC 2F, specifically with SMD 2F08. And then looking at the entire map for this new bus service, it's very complex, starting at Tinleytown, working its way to Mass Avenue and the the convention center. So they're not telling us in full what this is all about. There must be 100 new bus routes that's part of this, but I would like to hear that from them, rather than our having to use a mapping system that they provide that is really convoluted, really. And when you look a little bit deeper, you get an entire look at the map. So I would like for them to acknowledge that another ANC group is involved in this, that it just doesn't fall on our shoulders. And then we'll be able to, once they rectify that, then we'll be able to provide comments, because both of us have right in front of that new bus zone that hasn't had a bus zone before, or a bus stop before. Now they're going to have one, and these are people's living quarters. So we
The new bus zone number 2 is in front of a building that literally holds half of the registered voters of my SMD. There are 420 registered voters in that one building, and I don't know anyone in there yet, and I don't know how to answer this question. But given their utter non-responsiveness to Commissioner Schwartz's many emails on this subject, I don't see why we should provide a letter of support for anything until we can get some actual conversation here.
Right, and I've let them know that we won't until they clarify or get this thing clarified.
Done. So we should send a letter asking for asking for clarification on this, and asking for an extension of the NOA.
And coordination with 2F08.
Got it. In coordination with 2F08.
And perhaps, because this includes all of Mass Avenue and then goes up to Tinleytown, they're doing this kind of thing piecemeal with everybody, and no one knows what it actually means.
Got it. Okay.
And here's what I sent.
Yeah, I think I have. What you- Yeah, gotcha.
There are plenty of email documents on this topic.
Got it. So, so I hear, Jim, you don't, putting words in your mouth, you're moving to table this item until our next meeting.
Yes.
Got it.
You put words in my mouth that are accurate. Meditations in my heart.
What we heard you saying was.
Oh, yes.
So we heard you say. Awesome. Terrific. We do have a comment online. Thomas is telling me, I'm sorry. One of the concerns about this, the approval of this letter or comment of this letter was related to the fact that not all of these bus stops are in ANC 2C. Only bus stop 2 and bus stop 4 are in ANC 2C. Bus stops 1 and 3 are in the adjacent to F08 SMD, and they have not acknowledged to F08 in the FOA in this notice, so we need to make sure that 2F is coordinated and brought into the circle before we can make a decision on this. And Commissioner Schwartz has emailed numerous times trying to get a resolution, and he has not been able to find resolution or get a response from GDOT. So we will table this topic until our next meeting. Sure. Next, we will move forward to planning, zoning, and environment and historic preservation. And we have the updated renderings on monumental sports and entertainment from Capital One Arena.
Good evening, everyone. Howard. Howard, I'm the person who stands between you and the Caps game tonight, so we're going to try to make the presentation as quickly as possible. My name is Crispus Gordon, the Vice President of Government Affairs at Miami Sports and Entertainment. I'm joined by a colleague from Gensler and Clark, Will Pepperman from Clark, Brandon Melbestein from Gensler, as well as I have some colleagues who are listening online as well. I just want to begin by thanking you all for your previous support. With Capital One Arena, particularly the last time I was here, we presented the interior renderings, and you supported us putting forward the legislation before the committee of the whole, which was passed by the council unanimously and signed by the mayor. And so tonight we will be having the exterior renderings presented by Gensler. I've sent the presentation in advance. And I also asked at the conclusion of the presentation, we also sent a resolution. We do need that resolution as we go before zoning, Board of Zoning Adjustment, as well as NCPC to show that we have the support from the ANC. And so I will turn this over to Brandon as he'll walk through the presentation virtually.
Hi, everyone. My name is Brandon. I think we sent you the deck, did we not?
Yeah. I mean,
Sorry, no, this is just so I can see ahead. so I know
Gotcha,
what's
gotcha.
coming.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Yes, I have it. Hold on.
All right, and we can skip the slide too when you pull it up. But I'll just start talking here as well. We can get the Caps getting going. So first we're going to talk about the existing conditions and then go into the exterior transformation. So that will be the first. So we can just go to page 4. Please. Thank you. So I think everyone's familiar, just down the street, the arena. I think starting off, it would be great to look at this from a macro perspective, looking at it where the entrances are. On the corner there on 7th and F, you have the Metro, nondescript entrance, not pronounced, wayfinding is a little difficult. The entrance to the arena, if you're coming here for the first time to our nation's capital, you'd have a trouble finding this probably. So right now it's highlighted by a canopy that sticks out 20 feet. It's colored in blue, and then a copy of the Portrait Gallery's portico that sticks out at the top of the building with 3 columns. Again, pretty discreet, but that is how you get that. Entrance located down the street on Gallery Place Way is another entrance way down the street. There's a large digital board outside. You can't really see it, it's there. So there's no indication of really what's going on. And then marching down the street, you have a mixture of brick, precast, some signage boards, and branding. So what we're looking to do is improve on all of these things. So if you go to the next slide, please. Highlighting some of them at a micro perspective here. The first column you can see is the F Street entry. So there's that blue canopy. It's really the only part of the building that really looks like an arena. You get the signage out there, you get the activation with the boards, and you start to understand, where you're supposed to go in. On the bottom there, you have the Gallery Place Way, which is another entrance there with a digital board right in your face when you walk in, so it just jams you right away. So it does not encourage people to flow through there. Pedestrian experience down 7th and 6th, you can see in the middle column there. There's, again, precast, dark glass, ramps, not much going on at the pedestrian level. And then on the right side there, transparency limited by this darkened glass. So, and you can see currently it's lined with offices. So again, very dark on game day and on non-game day. So next slide, please. On the interior, same thing. There's a lack of a grand entry. that you can see in the F Street entry on the left there. It leaves a lot to be desired. It's mostly single height. There's a sliver of a double height, triple height space, but nothing really going on there, and it's mostly opaque on the outside. Middle column, you can see Gallery Place atrium, which we, if you saw in the last round, we are converting that into a large entry point. Again, very lacking in transparency and circulation points that are obvious. And then on the concourse, you can see it's very much tight, and there's not much connection to the outside. So next slide, please. We're trying to improve on all of these things, and we will. So one more, please. So again, just to ground us in where we are. So F Street to the south, 6th Street to the east, 7th to the west, and then Gallery Place Way to the north, with the Gallery Place building and atrium as well to the north. Just wanted to ground us where we are. Next slide, please. And getting into our concept. So the original point of this parcel of land is it was a national meeting spot for the city in the original L'Enfant plan, and we're hoping to reinvigorate that. The idea of confluence, that coming together or flowing together, meeting or gathering point at one point, we're trying to bring people together, and that is echoing in everything we're trying to do, whether it be through unifying the facade or making it kinetic, or just activating through transparency. So on the first column there, you'll see the existing venue has a collection of facades. They're all broken down by slight reveals, each of them slightly different than the other. If you looked at it, like I mentioned, you wouldn't know. It looks more like a convention center or an office building. It does not look like an arena for the nation's capital. In the next one over, you can see it's highlighting what we're trying to do with the main entry. So the main entry, we're trying to move it from the middle of the block, closer to the corner, make 7th and F a real powerful corner for us in the city. That also, it encourages the metro to be a more bold expression as well. And then the north there is to drive footfall north to Gallery Place Way. So it would be the left side of that diagram. So really driving people through that atrium and through that by Clyde's. And then something we're very excited about is an accessible entry on 6th Street, which will drive a lot of footfall to 6th Street, and then further development up 6th. So, and we will get to a rendering of that and explain all of that, but it's something we're very excited about. And then the last slide there, unifying skin that unites all of this. So we can keep rolling, please. The next slide. Precedents. So around the city, different things that unify things through this undulating or outboard system. So this is what we've looked at, whether it be the Portrait Gallery, the National African American History and Culture Museum, and then the Institute of Peace. So next slide, please. A brief overview of what the existing materials are. So again, glazing, precast, yellow brick, red brick, metal panel, all of them just kind of painted on the building with a lack of connection between them. And what we're proposing, as you can see on the right-hand side, an ultra clear glazing. That's very important to us to increase visibility inside and outside of the building. So there's always an activation. Limestone brick. So the brick won't be standard brick, it'll be limestone. So which connects to the context, to the portrait gallery. It's meant to really ground it, be ultra contextual. That will also be cut into also just limestone panels as well. So again, very contextual. A metal panel, which is dimensional, and then wood panels as well. Next slide, please. And all of that, also that all is unified by the ETFE, which is the veil on the building. So then going back to this image here, just to recenter us on where we currently are, you can see all of the glass and the precast and the brick. Next slide, please. And then you start to see what we're starting to do here. So first thing you notice is that overlying veil, that ethereal thing that is moving up and down on the building. It undulates and is kinetic and is energetic, and it's meant to really bring a prominence to our nation's capital. And, you know, this is the center point. So another number two thing you can notice here is the main entry. It is a real prominence. When you're coming here for the first time, let's say you're visiting Washington, D.C., you know where to go immediately. You see it. It's a grand entry for a grand city, and that's our intention there. And then just for everyday use, the Metro has a new prominent corner. We are popping it out a bit and really punching it so it doesn't feel like a negative missing tooth on the corner. It really feels like a special thing. And then going up and down the street, we've activated, whether it be through art programs or just materiality changes to the building to really make it energetic and fun for everyone. And then adding some canopy expressions too. So next slide, please. This is in that atrium or that entry vestibule. You can see this grand space. So one other thing by moving it out of the center is right now when you walk in, you go right into a 3-bank elevator and then you have to go around it. This just lets you go straight in. So it's ingress. It gives you more time to spend with your favorite teams, your favorite artists, your favorite comedians. You don't have to be stuck in line here. This will help with ingress and egress. So it gets you back out on the street to spend money in the neighborhood as well. So a lot of really great things about moving this entry. Next slide, please. This is on the corner of 6th and F. So a big thing for us is bringing, I mentioned transparency. So you'll see this corner, this glassy corner really pop here. So that's a major thing for us. And then you can see the ethereal kind of ETFE top there, moving in and out and responding to program. Next slide, please. This is, again, something we're excited about here, this accessible entry on 6th Street. It not only brings activation, transparency, and just excitement to that side of the building, it will drive footfall to that side of the building, which will drive economic spending on that side of the building, up that street, and bring people around. Also, it provides a really great access point for those who need an elevator immediately after entering. So right around that corner when you enter, there will be an elevator that takes you right up to the main concourse. So you don't have to go all the way around 6th Street, all the way to the main entrance, and then, sneak around to the elevator. So it's a very convenient path now that is a dedicated accessible entrance. So next slide, please. Then up on 7th and G, looking into Gallery Place Way, you can see that new main entry kind of B, around to the left-hand side. The veil pulls out and around to push the entry experience all the way out to the street. So there's no longer a dragon video board on the edge of the property line there, and it pulls you in, and you feel like you're part of the experience right away, and that will be part of your daily experience whether there's an event or not. So that atrium will have the same functions that it does today. So next slide. And then inside of that atrium or that Gallery Place Way walkway, so the coverage, the enticement from the street, the walk down, and the brightness really to encourage footfall. So next slide. And then once you're in the atrium, a refresh of what that is. So a refresh of materials, circulation, activity. It will be an extension of the concourse on game day and an exciting place to host events on non-game days. So it's a real asset for the community on both non-game days and game days.
Tomorrow's Quinn's birthday.
Next slide, please. Another great thing is we extend north just past Gallery Place Way is the addition of a theater access lobby, shared lobby, and a team store with a storefront on 7th. So this is a light touch. We are painting the existing facade to the left there where you see the team branding. That will be a double height team store, which is really exciting. And on the right-hand side, it will provide access from 7th, so you no longer have to walk all the way around to get to the theaters. It gives you a direct access up and also to parking. So, and that is the shared lobby on the outside. And then next slide, please. This is the inside of that lobby. So simple, but it also connects to the language of the Gallery Place atrium. So it is meant to be unifying and also just accessible and useful for everyone. And I think next slide. And then just an overview of the project as a whole. It highlights the veil, it highlights the circulation, the prominence of not just the main entry on F, but the main entry on Gallery Place Way, and then the new expression at the corner at 7th and F, which is very exciting for us to give the metro new life and new light. So it feels more safe and exciting. And then even in the middle of 7th Street, you can see the visibility coming all the way to the ground. We are no longer pushing the glass behind the columns. We're pulling them out to the street so that everyone can, be right there, right up against the glass. So I think that's it.
Just a quick question. Is this just the skin of the building? It's not.
Yes. It's like a scrim. It's non-occupiable space. It is projected off the building, similar to how that canopy right now, that blue canopy projects out. Yeah. Similar condition. It's just it's a rain screen basically.
Got it.
It is an aluminum actually, but it has a translucent property to it. It will have a frit applied to it with a pattern. So yeah, it's meant to be a dynamic thing that will change depending on what time of day it is. They're concave panels, so it will the nature of that means that as the sun moves, it will change slightly too, even within the panel. So you'll get a delicate kind of shift in the building. It will look different during the different times of the day. So.
And then one other question from me. Tell me where this is.
This is a curtain wall. It's meant to give a little prominence to that cut through to the atrium, and also to the access to the theater. So when the atrium is locked down on game days, similar to how it would operate now, you would have to use this to get up to the theaters. We are moving the escalators out within the escalators would now be within the secure zone. So we are adding new escalators on this axis here, which will take you up to the Regal and also to the parking. So it provides a cut-through access point, but also access on game days when the escalators and such are within the secure perimeter.
So this
is on the west side.
By the Clyde's entrance.
It's the Xfinity store right there where it says Team Store. All we're doing on that is painting it a light gray rather than right now it's currently painted as black. We are painting it as a light gray and replacing the signage and adding new glass.
This is the Xfinity store.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, okay, got it. I see.
And the Aveda's right by, so.
Okay.
Minimal touch there, but great impact for the community.
Got it.
Yes, I mean, currently, I can't speak to that's outside of my scope, I guess, so.
I have a question. I love having the metro entrance lit up for the escalator entrance, but what about the elevator entrance that is really hard to find on 7th Street now?
So we're actually providing a canopy over top of that now too, and there will be signage newly minted. We're upping the look of it a little bit, painting it, repainting it. Right now it's a little bit old and dated, so there's not much we can do to it in terms of moving that because that infrastructure is there.
Right, it's
but
going to have to stay right where it is, but you literally can't find it now unless you know exactly where it is.
yes, and I think the way we're adding lighting underneath that canopy will help do that. And I think the signage question is much more for the metro folks. But yes, I would agree that I would love to see that more prominent. And we can do as much as we can with lighting and with the canopy. But yes, the signage would
in
be.
addition to the perception of safety and everything else.
Yes, we can pass that message along when we speak to them next. Thanks. Yep.
When last time the Capitals were in the playoffs, one of the nicest things about the current layout of the arena or the stadium was that the outdoor screen was directly across the street from the
G Street. And could we actually go to that rendering, the G Street? I'm glad you brought that up because I forgot to mention that. Right here, right?
Now, but go back to the previous page. No. Keep on. Go. Oh, no.
You want the axons at the there you go.
So during the last time the Capitals were in the playoffs, one of the nicest things about the current layout was that the screen was directly across the street from the steps of the portrait gallery. So people would gather outside, especially when during the away games, but also when the games were at home. People, and the stadium was obviously packed. People would gather outside and sit on the steps and watch the game because Monument Sports was nice enough to show it on the big screen and people could watch it on the outside. That particular screen there. So and that's directly across the street from the portrait gallery steps. So if there's a way for you to maintain that. I mean, yes, you have a screen on the side, but it's kind of like, off to the side and at an angle. But if there's some way you could, keep that feature, especially if the Caps win, or the Wizards win, then I think it'd be a nice feature to keep in mind.
And could you go to that G Street rendering really quickly? And I can highlight what we've done to that video board at the end. One thing I think that people will notice that with that is that the current boards are much higher. So your neck would have been, with someone with a current neck injury, it's not the best thing to have to do. So what we've done is on this board here on G Street, we've centered it in the middle of the street here and lowered it down, which provides a great opportunity to line you up so that when the Wizards are in the finals or when the Capitals win this year, we're going to be able to all line up and, a few years from now and to watch it here. So the idea is to make that experience that you're talking about. I didn't mention that, but I should have. It's to make that experience better. So that's one of our drivers as well for that board. So thanks.
I have a question. I've been to twice now to Ted Leonsis' Museum of Art. Not a museum, but a gallery. Was that in any of the photographs that you showed, or is that was that further toward?
That isn't gallery.
Or was that further up?
You're referring to the Harry Benson
Seventh.
Gallery.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's when Brennan had the slide said where the team store is supposed to be located. Harry Benson Gallery was always going to be a temporary gallery that was there, and we were working to find out where a permanent place would be for the gallery and for the artwork. So when this is all said and done, that will all transition at some particular point. And so this is a plug. Please enjoy the gallery while you can, and we're so happy you had the opportunity to go there.
Touch.
Yes.
I mean, it's an amazing photography gallery.
Yes.
Hate to lose that.
What will become of the dragon? Will that be donated, reused somehow, incorporated in the design somewhere?
That's a great question. We can.
The Dragon. Yeah, I know we've been having multiple conversations with the Gallery Place Condominium Association and Howard's team, about the Dragon. And so I remember my conversations with the Dragon. We're still conversing as to what would occur with it, or did we, from my last? Yeah.
Hi, Crispus. It's part of the conversation still with MRP.
Yes.
We're in dialogue with all three entities and hope to get that resolved in the coming months.
What are the options?
It's more of a conversation with MRP right now. Yes.
And what's being planned for the bowling alley and or the old bowling alley? Is that it's probably out of the scope, but just out of curiosity? Lucky Strike and the
Are you referring to overall, like just?
yeah, inside. What's MRP doing with all that space on the inside?
I think Monica, if you.
No, I don't think we want to get ahead of MRP, so that's
yeah.
probably best direct
Yes.
to them.
Slides is remaining.
Yes.
Oh, good. Yeah.
And we've been in constant conversation about with Clyde's, particularly about the upcoming summer when we will be closed for renovations once the cap season concludes.
Clyde's is closing?
No, Clyde's will be open. We will be closed
Oh.
but we've been in constant conversation with Clyde's and connected in with DMPED in the city about what type of summer activations will occur in downtown.
I like the southern facade, especially around the corner, because it speaks to the Landsberg, so the Sidney Harmon Theater across the street with the multiple stories of glass.
Yep.
It's quite nice.
Thank you.
I see, Kasha, you have your hand up. Oh, Kasha's hand is down.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, just wanted to say it's really hard to hear the commissioners. It's just very faint. But anyways, I wanted to ask, where is that loading dock going to be, like where all the tractor trailers come in? Because nowadays it's kind of a maze trying to walk around them.
The loading dock is infrastructure like that is not moving. The loading dock door will remain on the northeast corner of the building.
what is your, some questions in the chat were like, what are your what's the timeline? I don't know what just happened to my chat. Okay, the timeline for the project to get started.
Yeah, so our plan's always been once the seasons conclude, we will shut the arena down over the course of 3 summers. And so we're looking at the summer of 25, 26, and 27. And so once the cap season is, we have a saying in hockey, don't speak too much about the P word, so I won't. But I say once it ends, we'll immediately shut the arena down and begin some work on the arena. Back of the house work has already commenced, stuff that you wouldn't see as a fan coming to a game that we know that's going on internally. But we'll start the bulk of the work over summers of 25, 26, and 27. That's when we get most of the stuff done for the arena.
Got it. And I have heard many people commenting on the Dragon and what will become of it. So I think that that's going to be an important community engagement piece.
Room from the Save Chinatown Solidarity Network.
Yeah. That
Residents of the Wallach House might have an opinion.
absolutely, they absolutely may. But I think it's going to definitely be a conversation that needs to be had.
And that's definitely what we're here for. You know, part of our work, you know, with you all and with the city is to continue to be present at events such as this and engage with everyone, whether that's Clyde's, whether that's the restaurants, whether it's you all or anyone that's here. And so on the agenda, you will definitely find my email address. And definitely please reach out to me if you have any questions. One of my other colleagues on here, Mary Kay Walsh, our Vice President of External Affairs, also works on our community engagement plan. We have Will Pepperman here from Clark Construction, who also does the same. So we have a team that's ready to continue to be engaged with everyone, to answer your questions, walk you through what's going on. We're definitely available, and it's our good friend Howard Marks can attest. We had some employees thought that Howard Marks was actually an ANC commissioner because we talked to him so much. But it's important for us to really let everyone know that you're definitely a part of this particular process.
Another question that has come up in the chat, thanks Emily for bringing that up. Does the design and the build incorporate green building standards, LED certification?
Let me get the confirmation on that and get that question back to you, but I don't want to speak out of turn, and I want to give you the actual 100% facts on that.
It will hit LEED standards. The meet code, it has to meet LEED standards. So of course that will happen.
Okay.
It's confirmation from Clark. So yeah.
Got it. Got it. Terrific.
That's why we come here.
Awesome. Anybody else have any other questions? Howard.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Commissioner Schenkel, for arranging for this presentation. So I'm Howard Marks. I'm the Vice President of the Residents at Gallery Place Condominium Association. We have 192 units, 300 people live in our building, and we're adjacent to the Capital One Arena. And also, we are unique in that when the building was delivered in 2004, it was divided between the commercial section, which is basically office space, and also retail and residential. And the retail office space is handled by an entity called MRP, okay, which is separate from our condominium association. So first, the good news, and I noticed that Monica Dixon is on the call. She's the president of Monumental Sports, and she's helped guide the relations between our condominium association and Monumental. I think we're off to a very good start in terms of communications. We have now monthly meetings that have been set up. Communication is very important, and there are a number of issues that are important to us. And the first one is, of course, what we call the G Street Alley, what they call G Street Place. And that is that we have 32 units that face the G Street Alley. And this sort of facade, I think the press release went out and said it would be iconic facade that you saw on the slides, which starts at the intersection of 6th and F, wraps around the building, and then dives down into what we call the G Street Alley. We're very concerned about the lighting, the intense lighting, which was discussed tonight, and how that would affect our 32 property owners, over $3 million worth of value in those properties. And if that's not resolved, how the values would decline and affect our entire economics of our building. The good news is that we had a representative from Gensler that visited our units that faced G Street Alley, and we're working on their, Gensler promised us through MSC that they're working on some sort of a solution, because that is really a game changer for us. It would affect, adversely affect our entire property. The second thing, and this is something that caught me by surprise tonight, this second entranceway leading directly to Gallery Place, the atrium to service patrons of the movie theater, of Regal, and anything else that might go in their future use. I think we need, before I could really, I was ready to be really enthusiastic tonight about this proposal, but I am quite taken aback because of this separate entranceway. I think was mentioned an escalator, how that's going to affect the units above what will be a major construction project when that escalator is put in, as well as the noise that will be transmitted from the ceiling of this secondary entrance. I think we need a little bit more information actually from Gensler and MSC and Clark as to what, this is the first time we've seen this. So, you know, I don't want to comment. I think that we need to have a meeting with our, and I call them partners because we want to work with them to find out exactly what this is about. Because this was not discussed before tonight. You know, we are definitely, and we also have some rights to the atrium too, that was signed with an agreement between our previous board and the prior, before MRP took over, was Oxford Properties, and we signed an agreement which gives us some rights to that atrium. Go ahead, Tom.
Where is this atrium that we keep hearing about? Is this?
Well, I'll leave it, but the atrium is basically, it's a covered area. There's an escalator in there that leads upward to Regal Cinema, formerly Bar Louie, formerly Lucky Strike, and so on, et cetera, et cetera. Right. That is going to be totally reconfigured by Monumental. They could speak for themselves on that one. But that we have some rights in that atrium. We've not asserted those rights yet, but so we have some, like I say, our major concerns are, like I say, is what happens on what we call the G Street Alley, what they call Gallery Place, in terms of those 32 units. We're very optimistic that something will be worked out in terms of the lighting intensity and the hours those lights will be on. But now we have this sort of this new development regarding this second entrance to the atrium from 7th Street. That's new to us, and that is right under many, many units. That could even affect my unit. So obviously, this is near and dear to my heart. So, yeah. Did you have a response from Monumental? Maybe
Yeah.
Monica has a response.
I'm happy to respond. And first I would call on the Clark folks who are in the room to explain, but I am very sorry if this feels new. This has been part of the drawings and our conversations. And I think, Howard, we should get together first thing tomorrow morning with Gensler and with you and with anybody else that you think would like to go through this in detail. Because despite what we can explain right now, and I'll stop talking so we can, but I just want to make sure that you have enough time with it and we go through it in detail, and we're happy to get together in the morning and do that.
Absolutely. We'll set something up. You know my email address. We're going on vacation, my wife and I, to Las Vegas tomorrow afternoon. So let's get this out of the way before lunchtime, okay? And there's one other issue, and I'm glad Will's here. We've also had a problem with noise, construction noise, starting as early as 7:10 a.m. We're pretty sure it's coming from the former Bed Bath & Beyond space. Okay, go ahead, Will.
I apologize. Well, starting with the latter one first, that is correct. I know we connected for the first time last week, starting to really get started in that gallery place lower level, the old Bed Bath & Beyond space. And as part of that, you're correct, we do have construction noise that's starting. We are able through the city to start at 7 a.m. So that's usually when you hear the noise starting. And we will see some concrete modifications, topping slabs, some column strengthening, and then some tunneling operations into the arena as those things go on. As we mentioned, those are getting started in the next few weeks. Then we do build out the space, so there will be some construction noise there over the course of the summer, really getting ready for the roughly mid-September delivery of that space. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so that's another issue, is the construction noise. Maybe Monica, when we meet tomorrow, we have a number of unit owners that have young children, and this is very disturbing to them, and people who, are sort of like rocked out of their beds at 7 a.m. or 7:10. So we would like to discuss with MSE whether we could talk to Clark about starting like 8 a.m. if that's possible, even going later in the day, if that's possible. That would be a huge issue for us also. Thank you, Will.
Yeah, we're certainly happy to look at it and happy to be part of that conversation. I think we obviously want to be good neighbors here. We've got a long partnership over the next couple of years. So anything we can do to help, we certainly want to take a look at and be willing to talk through. There's some balance of making sure that we're not extending the process out on the back end either too. So, but we're certainly happy to be sensitive and what we can do to be a part of the solution. We obviously want to be a part of. Yeah, of course. On the theater access portion, those designs are still fairly new. We got the DD set in the last few days, so we're currently working with Gensler to start analyzing that, and then starting to refine our approach. Obviously, to your point, it is directly underneath the condo units. We have not really started that full construction planning for that yet. I expect that we'll get some more information and get that plan together working with Gensler in the next few months to come. We wouldn't expect that to really be finalized for about a month or so as we sort of understand the access piece that we have as the drawings come together. So it's certainly something that I'd be happy to talk about with you more as that plan comes together.
So the question before the ANC then is the design concept of the exterior. Just confirming. Right. Got it.
Yes, the exterior and what we presented and
Yes.
the resolution sent over for our.
Yes.
Yeah.
Got it. Terrific. I would like to move that we send a letter of support for the design of the project to move that forward in the process, notwithstanding these other matters that will be worked out with time.
Could I amend that?
Sure, please.
I want to add that, yes, and that you consider adding a screen that's directly across the street from the steps of the eastern steps of the Portrait Gallery, so that people, we could recreate that event where we watch the games sitting on the steps of the Portrait Gallery. a consideration.
And I would like to add this small stipulation that takes into consideration what Howard has been talking about. That there will be
I second.
conversations.
So what will the motion be?
What you said there, adding that they consider adding a outdoor screen across the street from the eastern steps of the Portrait Gallery. And then that the resident concerns be addressed or listened to during the pre-construction, as part of the pre-construction process.
Got it. So the motion on the floor would be to send a letter of support for the exterior design concepts and with the consideration of adding the additional sign on the eastern side of additional screen facing the steps of the Portrait Gallery, and to be sure to incorporate the residents of 777 Gallery Place into the design and construction process.
Can we vote on the amendment separately, please?
Sure.
Great. Can we call the question
So,
on each amendment and then the main motion?
sure. So the question would be, should I start with the question of the letter of support first?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So we will, the motion then would be to send a letter of support for
As requested for the design,
the design
of the exterior as presented.
as presented, yes.
Second.
Great.
Okay, all those in favor?
Yes.
So 4 of 4 commissioners voting in favor of that. The second question was to consider adding
An extra screen.
Go ahead.
Digital screen directly across the street from the eastern steps of the Portrait Gallery.
So this is a request by the commission.
Yeah, request.
That they consider incorporating this into the design.
Yeah.
Is there a second?
Sure.
Seconded by Nancy. All those in favor?
Yes.
So 3 commissioners voting in favor of that. I'll abstain.
It's a request.
Right. And the third question is to be certain that the residents of 777 Gallery Place are thoroughly engaged in the pre-construction phases and construction phases of the project to limit disruption.
Second.
Seconded. All those in favor? Okay,
One abstention.
1 abstention. Got it. So 3 voting in favor, 1 extension. All right, we'll do it.
Thank you, commissioners.
Thank you.
Given that it's 8:47 and we have to pack and be out of here by 9 o'clock. I'm sorry for Lucas not being able to get in on the end. Do we have anything else on the agenda?
We do not have anything else on the agenda. At this point, Lucas, we're gonna have to look back to you.
No problem.
Sorry about that. All right. I move that we adjourn the meeting. Seconded by Commissioner Swart. Okay, meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next meeting will be on April 8th. Sorry, April 8th. Thank you all so much.